Well, hello, friend. Well, I'll tell you, today's my birthday. It's Hallows Eve, right? I was born on October 30th. And it's kind of funny. This is kind of my birthday present to myself. I was walking in the creek earlier, right? I'm in my shoes I can walk in the water with and got them all wet and my feet cold. Had a good time. But to tell you, friend, it's beautiful out here. See? This bridge, the water flows over top of it. I'm out in a preserve, one of the ones that I found recently, and I've been out a few times. I love this place. It's gorgeous. But there's not a lot of, I don't think there's a lot of hiking. I do see some things that you might qualify as trails, but I don't know the property lines, and I don't know. Might do some hiking here one day. I do love coming out here to the water, though. It's a beautiful place to come down. One of these days I'm going to come down here probably next spring, if I'm still here. God only knows, right? And do a water walk where I walk the creek down. And because it's pretty shallow almost the whole walk. You know, oftentimes people say that the streets of the kingdom are paved with gold. That's not really true, right? That's all, there's meaning behind all of it. Like the pearl gates are actually where they were made out of one big pearl. Well, that's Jesus is the pearl. And a pearl actually is, an oyster makes it because it gets a grit in it, like a piece of sand in its shell. And it coats that with the fluid that turns into a pearl. So when I had sand in my shell, friend, and Christ is what I coated it with, right? So the gate to the kingdom, the narrow path is Christ. And he's the one who got me into the kingdom, right? But my kingdom is here. I don't care what you all say. I already have it. It's right here, right now. Look at all this beauty out here, friend. You know? So I'm not a person that is looking to get a kingdom in my death. Sure, I want that because I don't want to have to come back here, right? Because hell is coming to the earth. You can see that. So I come out here to be in nature with God because this is what I love, right? So I'm hoping heaven looks a lot more like this, and you know, because they used all those stones and the pearl and the streets of gold. So the streets of the kingdom are paved with love, which is the currency of heaven. Gold, love, get it? Right? So that's the truth, friend. This is what I hope heaven looks like. You know what I mean? Like, give me a few friends and a nice set of woods. That's heaven to me, right? I just love nature. But my name is Jason, right? And if you go look up what Jason means, it's Roman for healer. So I have come to heal what Rome divided. So I don't care whether you believe that or not, it's true. Because I have no intentions on just letting this all go down the way it's going, right? The church got divided by Rome. You remember the Catholic Church went around killing all the other Christian sects, right? Jesus said, call no man father but your Father in heaven, and the priest told you to call them Father. There's all these things that Jesus said that if you go read him, you'll see what he talked about. He said to pray to nobody but the Father, right? Yet they tell you to pray to saints. So I'm not, you can do whatever you want, friend. I just hope you're going to go get a red letter edition of the Bible. You see, friend, what I want you to do is go get a red letter edition of the Bible. Do you see all that red? That's what Jesus said. So if he's your king, I want you to go get a red letter edition of the Bible and get to know your king. Because he told you if you don't eat his flesh, meaning his word, and drink his blood, meaning his spirit, you would by no means enter the kingdom. So you don't need a priest, preacher. You don't even need me, friend. All you need is Christ, right? He's going to tell you the truth. He said the purpose of the world's come to know love by experience. And that those that choose it will receive it. But those that choose to be selfish of Satan, well, then they're going to get what they chose. And since you all don't want to let go of your possessions and they're more important to you than your neighbor, my Father's going to let you have them to ride straight through hell. And I'm not telling you anything Jesus didn't already tell you. He told you about the end of the age, right? So I'm never here trying to scare you, but I also have to be honest with you that these churches are just telling you a bunch of lies. And I want you to find the truth. I want you to get to know your King, right? So if you want to choose your possessions in the world over Christ, which is the Father, and the Father is love, well, then he's going to let you have what it is you want, right? So I'm just telling you the truth because the church won't. They tell you to listen to Paulianity, and that's been a lie from the beginning. It'll be a lie in the end. And anybody that can't see that is blind. Because if Christ is the truth and the life, then he's the truth. How can you say that Paul overrode Christ? Oh my goodness, friend. Do you understand they are serpents? They've got forked tongues and they wiggle half a tongue on you. You might as well be back in the Garden of Eden with Eve listening to the snake. Don't listen to them. Go listen to Christ. He'll tell you the truth. He'll tell you that the purpose of the world is to come to know love by experience. And if you want the kingdom, it's yours to have. But the path is narrow, and he is the narrow gate. And if you don't want to follow that, go in through the narrow gate, you're not going to make it into the kingdom. Christ told you that. I'm not the narrow gate. Christ was. I tell you all the things Jesus said because I really want you to get this, because I love everybody, friend. Jesus said I had to love everyone. So I do. If you're a Muslim, I love you. If you're an atheist, I love you. If you're a Buddhist, I love you. I don't care what you are. I love you. Because I'm in my Father and my Father's in me, but you're also in my Father and my Father's in you, right? Because in the beginning there was only God, and where do you think he put everything else? If God is all there was nowhere else to put you but within himself, right? So he is consciousness. I cannot define God to you. I was with him in the beginning and you won't believe that either, so it doesn't really matter. But I am the spirit of Judas, and I've told you that. The first will be last and the last will be first. So I'm here telling you that the words of Christ already judged you. Go receive your judgment. And if you don't believe that, you go look in John and see if Jesus did not say himself that he said, I came to save you, not to judge you, but another will come. Well, the other one only comes to tell you that Christ's words already judged you. Go receive your judgment. So if you say you know him, friend, I hope you're going to go get to know him. Because if not, at the end of the age, he's going to say, I don't know you. Because your own thought of Satan in your head is going to condemn you like it is right now. You know, the one that's always telling you you're wrong and beating you up? That's your thought of Satan. And it's going to be with you on the final day. And if you don't know Christ, he's going to say, I don't know you. So, you know, you'd call me evil, son of Satan, which kind of technically I am, right? Son of selfishness. I was definitely born of selfishness. Well, friend, I was just getting ready to talk to you about something, and then some folks came along by foot, and it turned out they saw my Bible there. So we were talking about a red letter edition of the Bible and what Jesus said and read. And now we didn't go into a whole lot of detail, and we did some talking about some hiking. They do some hiking in places I don't do, and I told them some places that where I hiked they might want to go check out. And then after that, this another person started walking this way, but they had left. And we'll tell you the truth, friend. I'm a male in the woods with a camera, looking like a wilderness goat, right? So I think that woman turned around and went back. She thought, you know what? I don't want to get anywhere near that weirdo. That's okay, friend, because there's a reason I look the way I do, and that's because my father told me to. He said I'm supposed to be humble and not look like anything special, right? Because I'm not. I tell you, I'm the spirit of Judas, but that doesn't make me special. It makes me nothing, right? I'm the prodigal son that Christ raised up out of hell and loosed my chains and set me free. And he who the Son sets free is free indeed. But any of you that have watched my videos know that I'm not talking about a hell there. I'm talking about a hell here. I was in hell in my life. And, I was dipped in the blood of the church and cast into hell. And, well, Christ got me out. It took a long time because I didn't believe in him, because I didn't believe in the church. But, I did finally end up reading him, and then I got it. And my father's been showing me all kind of stuff that a lot of other folks don't notice. So today I wanted to mention to you, like I do sometimes, about Jesus and Judas creating Yom Kippur, because that's kind of critical if you're trying to get Jewish people to understand Jesus, because if you call him the Passover lamb, that was not their ritual of atonement. So you're not giving them something meaningful, right? I mean, yes, death, he actually put his blood above their door so death would pass them by, meaning that Barabbas was in jail for killing in an uprising, and there were more troops entering into Israel. So my father sent Christ at the exact time he did because he was saving the Jewish people from extinction. Now, I can't prove that to you, right? But if you go look in the Bible, you're going to see that this all makes logical sense. And I didn't come up with this. My Father showed it to me, right? The Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth. So, and if you go look at Jesus' crucifixion, it said Pilate and Herod became friends. So he was uniting houses, right? And what did the Pharisees say? The Pharisees and the crowd said, we have no king but Caesar, right? So they recommitted themselves to Caesar and all that. So by doing that, they let Pilate let him off the hook, and he didn't have to kill him. And if you go look, you also will see that the crowd and the Pharisees all yelled, let his blood be put on our head. By the law, my father would have had to murder them all anyway. So, in the beginning, because my father knew the end in the beginning, he knew everything, right? And so therefore, he created Yom Kippur, which Jesus and Judas created. So when Jesus dipped his bread, which was his body, into his blood, which was his wine, and he handed it to Judas. And when he handed it to Judas, it said Satan entered into him because Satan wasn't there to begin with, right? You understand that? I can't say I'm going to go get in the car if I'm in the car already. And then Judas said, not me, Lord. And he said, go do what you must do. He cast him from the lot. He cast him into the wilderness. Judas is your wilderness goat. So he took all the blame so that he didn't have to, he cast the blame onto Judas and cast him into the wilderness. So Jesus' blood was dumped on the wilderness goat, which then carried all the dead of Israel out into the wilderness. And then he hung himself, right? So the first will be last and the last will be first. Just as Jesus said. It's all there, it's just my Father hid everything in code. That's why I'm always telling you, get a red letter edition of the Bible, because if you really get to know him and everything he said real well, my Father will start putting things together for you and show you things that are just incredible. He doesn't give me everything. Some things he gives to other people, and they give it to me. I mean, he said, I believe this is actually Old Testament, but it says that, it's the glory of God to conceal a thing and the duty of kings to search a matter out. Well, if we're a Christian and we're wearing a crown, it's our duty to search the matters out, right? So it doesn't matter to me whether you believe it or not, friend. But that's the truth, and that's what the Jews need for atonement is Yom Kippur. They got it, right? So my Father didn't have to condemn them. 40 years later, the temple got ripped down. They wouldn't repent, and my Father spread them throughout the world. But he didn't have to judge them right then, right? And then, because everything would have disappeared along with the Pharisees, the Sanhedrin, all that. The law, everything would have been gone. My Father would have done all that for nothing, right? So, my Father's brilliant, beyond brilliant, because he knew the end in the beginning. And therefore, he knows how to make this all work out. I don't care whether you believe a thing I say, friend. But you really should believe every word Jesus said if you say you're Christian, because that means you're of the Christ, not of Paul. Paulianity, no meaning. I've been telling you that. So if you don't eat his flesh, which is his word, and drink his blood, which is his spirit, you will by no means enter the kingdom. And don't tell me you can't talk to him, because Jesus told you, be glad I go to the Father. Because I go to the Father, The Spirit of truth will come to you, not to me, friend, not to your Pharisees, to you. And even though what he told you was true, even greater truths will you be given. Well, he gave me that truth. I haven't heard anybody ever talk about that. I don't care whether you believe if I'm the spirit of Judas. Understand, I'm only here to tell you that his word's already judged you. I'm drenched in sin. I was cast into hell, a state or place of mental suffering, right? I just went over in a video yesterday about the church to Philadelphia, and right where it says that Jesus himself said to John, words in red, to he that overcomes, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will go out no more. No more means not again, right? Are you getting that, friend? Are you understanding? Do you comprehende? I hope so. Because you keep listening to them to tell you the truth, and they don't have the truth because they keep lying to you. They are not telling you Christ is the truth. They're telling you Paul is, and then they use part of what Paul said to mess it all up. Don't do it. Get to know Christ. He's your king. When he comes, he's the one that's going to be says, I don't know you, not Paul. Never once did Jesus ever say that a guy was going to come after him and rewrite the law for the Gentiles. I'll tell you what he did say. He said, heaven and earth will pass away, but his words would by no means pass away. So I don't know where you all think that Paul has the right to override Christ, because Paul didn't. It's just you guys took his stuff, take half of what he said, twist it up, turn it into demon soup, and then drink it. Instead of drinking Christ's blood, his spirit, by eating his words, right? So you can say whatever you want, but you're going to answer to Christ, not me. I'm only here to tell you that on the last day, you're going to answer to him. But he doesn't have to come because his word's already judged you. You understand that too, right? The rest of the Church of Philadelphia? Friend, I just hope you're getting things that Jesus was saying. Because you guys are at war with each other. The church is more hating itself than it does anything else, and you are supposed to love everybody, especially Christians. You all make no sense whatsoever. You can take your Paulianity and do whatever you want with it, friend, but it ain't getting you into the kingdom, and I've been telling you that because Christ told you that. So I'm hoping you're going to go get a red letter edition of the Bible and read what Jesus said and read and get to know your King so that he can say to you, good and faithful servant, welcome home. Because otherwise you're not making it into the kingdom because Christ told you you weren't. He told you he was going to deny those that prayed, prophesied, and cast out demons in his name. He is either the truth and the life or a liar. Make up your mind. All right, friend, well, it's my birthday, so I really don't want to be saying all this, but I don't get to choose what to say because Jesus told us that do not think about what to say, but when we go before our judges, which is anybody that's listening to me on this camera, you're judging me for what I'm saying, but I'm not judging you because I don't know who you are. I'm only talking to a camera, right? So he told me not to think about what to say, that he'll give me what to say at that time. So I'm always telling you, I'm shooting from what you call the hip. I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking about the words of Christ. So I don't care whether you believe what I say. I just care that you believe what he said. And if you go read and get to know him, because you hear him, you'll hear me. Because you know him, you'll know me. I don't care whether you believe it or not, friend. You can't call Christ a liar and call him your Savior. It doesn't work. Didn't work yesterday, won't work tomorrow, won't work the day after. He's either the truth or he's not. Your choice. Get a red letter edition of the Bible and decide. Do you want to love your neighbor as yourself? Do you want to hang all the laws and the prophets on only 2 commandments because one is like the other? I do. I want that kingdom, friend. I'm tired of watching us murder each other like a bunch of animals. This wears me out. We're butchering our children, sacrificing them on the altar to our corporate gods. If you don't think that's got me a little distraught, my father showed it to me and told me I have to talk about it. So I've been talking about it. You think the dragon, you know, one come straight out of hell to knock me off my horse? Except the dragon ain't there, friend. We gave him flesh. Megacorp. The riders of the beast, they think they're going in their underground arcs, friend. I've told you. Right in Revelation, I told you what happens to those that hide in their caves. I hope you're getting it. All right, just know I love you because my Father loves you. There's forgiveness for everybody that'll choose. But sooner or later, that door to the kingdom's going to close, and you're not going to make it into the wedding. So if you don't want to seat at that table and you don't want to figure it out now, you're not going to figure it out. I keep telling you that today's the best day to get started because I don't know when the door to the wedding closes. But you ought to start reading Jesus and getting to know him if you're going to call him king. All right, well, because my Father loves you, I love you, and I really mean I love you. I recognize that a lot of you are going to hate me for what I say, and I don't care. I'm going to love you anyway because Christ told me I'm supposed to. That's my job, right? So it isn't about being right or wrong. We're all wrong and we're all right. Just ask anybody. The whole world says there's no truth anymore, right? So to me, Christ is the truth. The rest of it, all lie. All right, may God bless you and yours.